or not?
Oh, yes.
There he is down there. There he is. Oh, got him.
Larking about.
You're larking about there. Now, why are you larking about? Tell us.
Well, there's a charity that I sort of run, or I'm chairman of, called Hysteria, which exists to raise money for people with AIDS. And we've had a couple of shows every other year, roughly. So we had one in 87, one in 89, and now this is 91, so we're having another one. And they're comedy shows. The idea is to produce big comedy spectacular, or extravaganze, as they would say in Italy, to raise money for people with AIDS. AIDS doesn't go away. One of the problems with it is that the less publicity AIDS gets, the more it thrives. It actually thrives on people not talking about it. And people are continuing to die and get infected with the HIV every day as we speak. And it is necessary to keep reminding people, but I don't like the idea of being po-faced about it. It's a bad enough disease anyway. I think everyone knows that. And if one's going to try and raise money for it, you might as well do it through comedy as anything else. And particularly because comedy appeals to younger people, and it's actually between the ages of about 16 and 20 that most people who do get the virus, that's the age they get it at, and then 5 or 10 years later even, they develop the disease. So we've got, you know, a
the gang.
Of hardcore.
It's the gang.
Yes, there's Rowan Atkinson and Harry Enfield and Dawn French and Jennifer Saunders and Hugh and Ben Elton and lots of other surprise people. And the idea really behind the shows is to try and get people to perform in combinations that one's not used to. One of the big highlights of it a couple of years ago was Tina Turner, who had said she wasn't sure she could make it. She was touring Europe at the time. Then when she heard John Cleese was in, she wrote and said that she absolutely adored John Cleese and was dying to meet him, had never met him, and could she do something with Cleese? So Cleese was in New York, so I sent him a fax saying, how about doing something with Tina Turner? He said, as in Icon Tina Turner? I said, yes, as in Icon Tina Turner. And he said, oh, right, OK. So I wrote this sort of sketch for them to do, and it was absolutely brilliant, and was one of the great highlights. And that's really the idea, is to get, you know, not to have musicians on just to do their songs, charming as they may be, but to do them with people they've not done them with before. Like Lenny Henry did a wonderful song with Jules Holland and Eddie Reader.
You have to pester people, though, or do you have to go after people to do them?
Well, they take a bit of pestering, but I mean, they're very good-natured, and I think they realise that lending their name to something that is an AIDS charity is sort of more important than lending their name to a fluffy bear charity, because fluffy bears with slings around them and so on are of course, terribly important, and I'm not knocking them, but they're very easy for everybody to come in and support. But there are still some really bizarre people in this world who seem to think that AIDS is God's punishment or something peculiar, and that people deserve it. And let's face it, it'd be a very odd kind of God that could see all the kind of cruelty and torture and really vicious behaviour that goes on in the world, and not punish that, but simply punish people who happen to roll around with people of their own sex or something like that. I mean, that would be a very odd God, let's be honest.
Well, Stephen, we have to leave it there. Thank you very much for coming in. You're
a busy man. 30th of June, I hope to say.
Jeeves and Wooster, new book coming out.